Welcome students to BA 130. This is Introduction to Spanish Bilingual Interpreting. Bienvenidos. My name is Professor Lilian de la Torre. I've been teaching at Santa Ana College for 7 years. I'm really excited that you're taking this class. I see some of you are taking both my classes at the same time, and then I see that some of you are returning from taking other previous classes with me. So thank you. I'm really excited to have you back. And for those of you that I had not the pleasure of meeting you, I look forward to meeting you as well. So this is an upper division class. It's one of the electives and required courses for the certificate in the degree program, and you could also take it as an elective for other certificates. So right from the start, I would like for those of you that are in the certificate or the associate degree program for Spanish English interpreting to make sure that you are in the correct class. If you're not sure, I'm going to show you right now where to get that information so you can check out our brochure and make sure that you are taking the right courses, that you are in the right program, or perhaps you can talk to your counselor as well to make sure that you are following the right course of action for your certificate or associate degree program. So here in the homepage, I'm just going to go over briefly over some sections. Here in the homepage, you're going to have the course description and then your learning outcomes. Your learning outcomes, this is part of the syllabus quiz for the due the second week in module 2. So make sure that you review them. And here you click for the syllabus. There's a syllabus review video just going over the parts of the syllabus. So I'm not going to talk about that in this video. The description here, even though this is not a requirement to take this class prior to 131, I do have students that are taking both classes, and there might be some similarity in some of the assignments. So here it's going to tell you that we're introducing you to the careers, the foundational skills and the career of interpreting or translating. Some of you want to work in the medical field, others be court interpreters, or maybe in education. So whatever your goal is. However, let me tell you something. At the beginning of the class, some students come in wanting to be court interpreters, and then by the end of the class, they decided that they rather be in the medical field or vice versa. So have an open mind, and that's why we want you to have a rounded education and be exposed to the various fields, even working with the federal government, so you can know of the many available options that you have for you. So you're going to go over very basic foundational skills to go into this career. But first of all, I want to address that you do need to have a fluency in Spanish and English, strongly recommended, because I've seen some students struggle if the Spanish is not their first language or vice versa, if English is not their first language. So make sure that you are taking another class so that you can address that if you need to take a Spanish class or if you need to take an English class, so you could address that and become stronger in your fluency in that language. So we're going to talk about proper terminology, written and verbal translations, and then of course everything that goes into the examination and ethics for interpreters and translators. Here you're going to have your navigation panel. You know where to access the syllabus here, the modules for quick access to the modules. The modules you can also click it. This is the desktop version, by the way. If you are accessing, have access to your course via the Canvas app, this is going to look very different. But if you're looking at your course in your iPad or in your phone, and for those of you that do not have the Canvas app, I highly, highly recommend that you get it. Because it's going to make a big difference for you to stay up to date on your assignments and not fall behind. So here you can click on modules, go to course info, go resources, but you can also do it from here. Here you have your assignments, but your assignments are listed in your module. I only open a module per week. This is a 16 weeks asynchronous class. We do not meet at all. Here, when I do have office hours closer to the final, you're going to click here to go into the office hours. If they're optional. You are not required to come into the office hours, but this is just for students if they have any questions regarding the final. NetTutor is available for you, so use it if you need any help with writing for some of the writing assignments. However, this needs to be your own interpreting and translation, so NetTutor does not help with that. Office 365 is a must. You must download it. And I tell you this because even in the second week, I struggle with some students that have not done so. The very first thing, like today, you need to go to self-service and have access to 365 because all the students at Santa Ana College have free access to all the apps in 365, but I need you to download the Word app because I need you to submit all your assignments unless I direct you not to in Word. The reason being that I check everything with my iPad pencil and I make the corrections in your Word document. I cannot write in Canvas, in Apple Pages, or in PDF. So the only thing that I admit is a Word document. Here you can find communicate with other people in the class. And then we are going to do an assignment, requires the Google Apps, but I'm going to give you the link to go and it's already shareable. And then here the studio is where you can house and have, it's like your own file of your audios and your videos. And you can do that because we do have a require assignment where you're going to do a written translation of a news article, and then you have the second week you have to do, the following week you need to do an audio of it. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with the modules. So you're going to start, your module opens here. This is already open. The class itself doesn't open till August 19, but this section is already open by default. So here you're going to find this welcome video, the accessible course syllabus and policies. You also find the syllabus here in Word and PDF. Questions about taking an online class. For those of you that do not have experience, I highly recommend you go over this frequently asked questions. Here in my contact in my bio, you're going to find my email, and my preference to contact with me is through inbox here because I have it readily available in my phone. Second option is via email. Here for my instructor portfolio, I highly recommend you to take a look at it to see what are some commonalities. I have over 20 years of experience in journalism, so I started my career in journalism before I went into teaching, and also as a former employment counselor and career coach. So I want to share with you my real examples, work experience from my clients. So here I share some of the current work that I'm doing with La Habra through my client of over 20 years, Cornerstone Communications. So I translate the La Habra City newsletter. Allen Hancock College is my client as well. Cornerstone Communications is the leading agency in Orange County. They have amazing clients. With them, I did some of Behind the Badge. They also have a lot of police departments under their roster. So here's just to give you an idea of what I worked in the past so that you could see, for example, here we subtitled this for one of the leading realtors in San Diego for Cornerstone Communications. I've also worked with some book authors to translate some of their conferences worldwide. And here is a past examples of what I've done. So I was the translator of record for Rancho Santiago, Santa Ana College, and Santiago Canyon College for over 20 years. And then I had to leave that job because it was conflict of interest to start working at Santa Ana College in 2018. So for many years, I was a translator of record. So I translated their press releases and documents for both colleges and the college district. And then I stopped that job to be able to teach at Santa Ana College in this program that has grown dramatically. And I'm a former wedding publisher and also publisher of some other magazines. And here you can find the information about my background. And the reason I mentioned that is also because I know some of you might be interested in teaching. I do have 2 teaching credentials for K to 12 in adult school, besides my master's. So I have a teaching credential in business and finance and marketing, sales and services. So if any of you are interested in obtaining a teaching credential, please let me know, and I can also go ahead and advise you on that. So here's the start here. There's a couple of very important sections here. They're all important, but some are more important. Okay, so the academic honesty policy. Please make sure, especially when you're translating, that you do not just copy paste, especially with artificial intelligence and Google Translate. You might want to just want to be able to, or might be tempted, I should say, to just copy paste. So I advise you not to do so. Very, very big promoter of proofing. Proofing is so important. There's been major, and you're going to see that there's been major, incredible mistakes worldwide with major companies because they did not proof. So make sure that you know that just copy pasting from Google Translate is not, that you're doing a disservice to yourself because you're not learning the techniques of interpreting the syntax, the subject verb agreement. That's why I cannot emphasize enough that you need to be fluent in both English and Spanish to be able to take this class, because you are going to struggle. So I had in the past students that their first native language was not Spanish and they did amazing. However, it took them more work than it would not, right? But anyways, I just want you to be mindful that you do need to proof. And I know because I also put it in Google Translate to make sure and to compare some of the students' work, and some of the students' work is just the exact same thing. It's not a coincidence where two or three students submit the exact same thing because they copy paste it from Google. So I know it's just the Google Translate. Believe me, I know. So another thing is respectfulness. This is an election year, so sometimes conversations get heated, but it's okay. We agree to disagree. We just need to do so respectful. So we need to have online classroom etiquette, right? Even though if we're just meeting asynchronous. For the student lounge, these are questions. I don't know if you might just have maybe something about an internship. Hey, where can I find information? Just general questions. You can post them here, and I check it every other day. And or you can also download the Pronto app. I highly encourage you to download the Pronto app on your phone. You also click here and it will give you the desktop version. Let me give you examples of what students have done in the past. They've shared information about internships, about events in Orange County, about jobs that are available in interpreting. And even though the majority of you are in Orange County, there's some students that register for the class that are from other parts of California. So all whatever it is that they want to submit in there is welcome. This is not mandatory. This is an optional application tool that students use to network. Okay. Here, this is extra credit for this class. SAT for online orientation, you have until October 20th. It's not required, but let me tell you, this is worth 100 points. I cannot list the points there because I do that manually, so it doesn't affect those of you that not submitted because this is optional. But it does make a difference for students that are not doing well in the class. And do not get discouraged because the majority of you do well in the class. Then you're going to go here in student resources. Please make sure you make use of the resources and services that we have available. We have amazing support services at Santa Ana College, be it from the health and wellness, the library. If you don't have a computer, they will let you borrow a laptop. We have tutoring services. So here you can find everything about your online services. Because you're not on campus, we want to make sure that it's here in campus so that you know where all the resources are. Okay, and also if you need to reach out to the SPS to get me a letter of accommodations, please do so. I'm here to support you be successful in this class. So for this class, you're going to see, again, this is a zero cost textbook class, so we provide resources for you. So here I've already divided the glossaries and dictionaries and other materials for bearing on the industry. So here you're going to find some business, education, all mostly related with IEPs, special education. And IEPs, for those of you that do not know, is the individualized educational plan for students in education. And there's a big demand for interpreters for that field in education K to 12. Medical glossaries, legal glossaries, and then here's for sign language interpreting. For those of you that are interested, I've also included a book there, and also the shortcuts to mark the accents in your Microsoft, or even if in the computer. So there's the Alt keys, and then again, this is not, we don't go over grammar, but I do have refreshers. So I highly encourage you to take a Spanish class if you have a deficiency there and you need to improve your Spanish, or the other way around if you need to improve your English. But I do have a refresher here for the rules of grammar in Spanish. Because in Module 2, and this is because a lot of students, I could tell from their first assignment in Module 1 that they're struggling. I could tell when someone, again, don't stress if you don't know the accents, you'll learn them. But what I'm talking about is just the syntax and the subject verb agreement, okay? Because their subject verb agreement does not match the verb and they're missing the artículos. And when they translate, so I could tell right away that they're lacking in either Spanish or in English when we do the backward translation from Spanish to English. I could tell, okay? So this is here to help you. And then when I was telling you to make sure if you're in the right program, this is where you would go and see our brochures. And you're also, for those of you that are going to complete the certificate or your associate degree, if this is your last semester, I want to make sure that you know how to fill out the certificate of completion form. So more on that as we start the semester. There's going to be a video there where I show you how to do it. And then again, here are the completion forms for the certificate. It tells you here what per, depending on the certificate that you're completing, what is it that you need to do, etc. So all of that is here for information for you to empower you. So this section right here, I obtained a grant, a teaching grant from Course Hero, an organization that has professional development for faculty. So I was awarded, I was one of, actually, I was a one and two in California, the majority were from other states. So I'm very, very honored. They gave me a teaching grant in the fall of 2023 to develop a module for my classes to prepare students for the written exam. So part of it was that I needed to do student generated content. So this is a little library here. If you're not interested in becoming a court interpreter, do not worry about the section. But if you are, here it explains the test that you need to pass even before you take the oral exam, because you need to take a written examination that is required for everyone, regardless of what language they're going to be pursuing their certification in. So here you could go page by page and then look at what some students have submitted. I also included the information for the SIBO publishing products because I highly recommend you purchasing them. If again, this is a zero cost textbook, you're not required, but this is just for those of you that would like further training. They have information in administrative hearings, workers' comp, and I include here the information and where to get their products. And then here is just other resources that have been suggested by other students that are preparing for this exam. So again, this is just here to support you. But if you're not considering becoming a court interpreter, you could just disregard that section. And here in module one, you're going to start from top to bottom in every module. You're always going to have an introduction telling you what the topic is, and then the video lecture. Here's the review of the syllabus because you do have a quiz in module two, and then your video lecture for that particular topic. And then here is some material to reinforce your skills and the topic that we are discussing. So here you're going to get the knowledge, skills, and abilities for interpreting and translating. And this you're going to see repetitive in the other BA 131 class that I teach because this is essential and important. This is provided by the Judicial Council of California, but they're transferable to any industry. Exercises to build your skills. Here we go over what's the difference between interpreter and translator. What is your pathway? Because a lot of people don't know what pathway we're in, even though we're in the interpreting program. We're in the people, ideas, and culture pathway. We're part of the business division, but the pathways are categorized depending on the subject area. So ours is people, ideas, and culture. Here you're gonna look at these videos in order to do your assignment for colloquial language. So I will explain in the video lecture how to do this. You're going to go in the Google slide, you're going to do part one, and then you're gonna come back and do part two here in Canvas. So it's self-explanatory, but I'm also gonna mention it in the video lecture for module one. And the discussion, because we are an asynchronous class and we're also part of the California Virtual Community College, it is required for online classes to have student-to-student interaction and teacher-to-student interaction. So how we meet that requirement is by weekly discussion. So be mindful, be respectful, and be thoughtful in your responses to your classmates. You are required to do 2 replies. You need to reply to the question, and then you need to reply to give feedback to 2 students. And then here's your study guide for the syllabus quiz. There's no surprises. Everything in this is in the study guide, and then the study guide is due in the next module. So this is pretty much the same format for each module. You're going to review key concept, and then you're going to have 2 assignments. Sometimes you might have 3, but very rarely you're just going to have 2 assignments for that week because a lot of you are taking 2 to 3 classes. So it's going to get heavy if you have a full load of classes for the semester. So I look forward to reading your assignments. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to this amazing educational journey And once again, thank you for taking this class.